What up? What up? What up? What's up, everybody out there? Welcome to another edition of Generation of the Game. We are on episode 13. And as always, got to shout out and introduce the co-pilot, Chill Will Lyons. What's up, brother? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm great, bro. Ready to, get to it. And we got family in the building.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Without no further ado, you've seen this man before. The man, the myth, the legend, Pablo. What's going on, good brother? How you feeling?
Man, I'm good, man. Just glad to be here, man. I appreciate y'all inviting me on again, man. And I'm
Oh,
just ready
yeah.
to rock, man. Have a good conversation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Glad to have you, bro. Definitely. It's a lot to get into this week, y'all, with the sports world this week. Before we get into it, it's gonna be, of course, basketball heavy as usual. But this week we got to start off with something that we saw this week, man. We got to start off with this. The whole Cam Newton incident that happened at a 7-on-7 tournament in Atlanta, Georgia, where he was it looked like to me like he was attacked by 4 people, and the optics weren't good. So I tell you what, that hat stayed on Cam's head during the whole thing, and it was like he was holding them up like he had the Heisman Trophy in his hand. He was holding them off like that. And but man, we really have to get into this, man. Pablo, you're the guest, man. I mean, what did you think about this, man?
Man, anytime I see anything like that, you know what I'm saying, it's kind of unfortunate, you know what I'm saying, especially when, you know what I'm saying, everybody involved, you know what I mean, they look like us. I think we just got to be better, you know what I'm saying, in all areas. I don't know the particulars. The only thing I saw was the video like everybody else saw. So I don't know what started it or, or any of that. So I don't know if Cam provoked them or if I don't know if the kids were, I don't know. I don't know what happened. But at the end of the day, I just think that we got to do better. We got to respect each other better. And we got to provide a way better example, you know what I'm saying, for our children, you know what I'm saying, that's out there watching us and, doing their thing. So, yeah.
Good points, bro. Good points. Will.
I mean, I agree with Pablo, man. My first thought was just it's sad to see, on both sides of it, those men are coaches, role models, father figures, for those young men that's on the teams. So whatever it is, man, and watching some of the interview clips and stuff like that, it really sounds like it came from nothing but just trash talk. So for it to really get to that point is truly unfortunate, especially in front of, the young athletes and everything. We all been in situations talking trash, whether you're actually playing or just, a spectator. But I feel like at this point in our lives, man, we got to know that it's more to it. And then we got, too much going on. When I think about Cam, millionaire, certified legacy on the field, he got a show going now. He's a father, you know what I mean? All of those things, and a coach. So when you think about coach, you think about what, a leader of men or women, so that always has to come first, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah, y'all made some real solid points, man. I agree with y'all. It's an unfortunate incident, and with today's climate, you never know when somebody gets hot headed enough where they're pulling out guns and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We see that with Aqib Talib's brother. 7-on-7 heated argument, and man losing his life over some nonsense. And Cam is a major figure. He's a league MVP, 3-time Pro Bowler, been to the Super Bowl, and one of the things that I watched Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco on the nightcap, and they were talking about it, and Shannon Sharp made some good points. He said this wouldn't go on at Tom if Tom Brady had a 7-on-7 or Nick Saban had a 7-on-7. But for some reason, it goes on with us, with some of the stuff that goes on, with our camps and stuff, man. And like you said, we got to set a better example. Trash talking, that's what we do. Mm-hmm. You know that, like you said, whether you're a fan of the game, whether you play the game or not, You know that's what we do. It's part of the culture. Let's be honest. Trash talk is a part of our culture. We love it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love it to go to a game when fans are talking trash or you talking trash or the players are talking trash to each other. You know, that's what we love to do. But at the same time, though, like you said, we got to set an example. There was kids there. But I mean, you know, I don't know if it was 12 and under, 18 and under, whatever. There was kids at this camp. And we have to set a better example. I think that goes into the part of this culture that we have right now in America, man. It's like these. I saw a video last week, you know, of referees being attacked at an 8 and under game somewhere. It's like these are 8-year-old children, you know, at a basketball game. It's crazy, and I think the part of it is that a lot of these parents live their lives through their children, and everybody thinks their child's going to be the next Patrick Mahomes, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, or whatever. That's not the case. The chances of that happening is like me going out here tomorrow and hit the lottery for $615 million. And not only that, there, you just don't get genetics. You have to work. People don't see that work that Kobe, LeBron, and all these great players put in. I'm not even talking about an hour. I'm talking about hours, sacrificing, stuff like that there. People don't understand. They're just not on the court to play. They're just not gifted. You have to work. What they did, they had to work. I mean, you have to be disciplined, set schedule and stuff, which a lot of people don't have. A lot of us don't have that. What's wrong with your son or daughter going to a Division II school, Division III school, or even a Division I school, which is like that's hard to get to. It's like hitting a $500,000 lottery. So, you know, I think we have to do better, man. You know, we have to do better as far as the culture of sports and everything. It's about kids having fun and learning. That's what it's about. And I agree with Shannon Sharp said, too. Another point he made, too, was you see these people disrespecting Cam at these camps and stuff. I remember a couple of years ago, a kid disrespecting him. It's like, man, do you know who you're talking to? You're getting pointers from a great quarterback, a Heisman Trophy winner. You know, you're not getting it from somebody on the street or whatever. This is a guy who played the game at the highest level, who knows what it takes to get to the highest level. And instead of you saying, oh, how good you are, you're going to be better than him, you should be actually taking in, listening, and soaking in the knowledge, because you're not there where this man has been. He's been at the pinnacle of sports. He was the face of the NFL at one time. You can honestly say in 2015 season, he was the MVP. He was the face of the NFL. So don't disrespect that man and what he's trying to teach you. But, you know, y'all, sorry to be on the soapbox of y'all, you know, but it pisses me off sometimes, man. Some of the stuff that you see and everything, man. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's a damn game.
No, I agree. I feel like I can't speak for other cultures because I'm not a part of it, but I do feel like it's something more common with our culture, like, you know, just the way that legends and just athletes in general can be kind of talked down on, you know, and I'm not saying that I've never been critical of somebody's, like, a play they may have made or their game or something like that, but I do feel like there's like a line, you know, between being truthful, you know, and being disrespectful, you know, like saying you made a horrible play is one thing, you know, calling you a bum or a bust or a failure, you know, that's a whole nother thing, you know, because like you said, man, like specifically Cam, I mean, Heisman, if I'm not mistaken, championship, you know, NFL.
Yeah, you're right. National championship. Yep.
You know, like it's not too many that have that, you know, resume, you know, a Heisman and an MVP, you know, like he's stamped. I mean, did it go the way we wished it went? You know, probably not. But, you know, he made it to the top, you know, of the sport. He made his money. And, I mean, he's still walking around from what I can see, you know, without, you know, being accused of having CTE, you know, like some of the players.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're right. And you know, the thing about this is though, man, these are coaches too, man. Like, you know, that was rumbling, trying to rumble with Cam, man. I mean, come on, man. You got Cam. You're supposed to be setting the example as the leader of these children. And you sit up there rumbling with a man because he talks a little bit of shit to you. Come on, man. I mean, everybody talks shit.
They probably lost some players to him. You know, like think about it.
Yeah.
Like if Coach John is over here and then Cam Newton like, hey man, I like what you did out there, man. Come join my team. You know, at the end of the day, them kids probably, you know, so at least some of them they gonna go play for the NFL player. You know, and they have feelings.
Because it's like, can he help me get me to the level that I want to be at? Mm-hmm. Can he give me some pointers on how to be the consummate professional, how to get a college scholarship? Because like you said, this man has been a winner wherever he went. He led Carolina to a Super Bowl. He won a national championship at Auburn. He won the Heisman Trophy. And let's be honest, he probably had one of the top 5 seasons we ever seen in our lives as far as a Heisman Trophy, as far as college football went. I mean, who you got? Barry Sanders, Joe Burrows, and probably Cam Newton probably had the 3 best seasons we ever seen as a college football player.
That's fact.
So yeah, you know, man, we got to do better. That's all I know. We have to do better. Okay, y'all.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. As we move on to our main topic now to the night, whether you want to talk about college hoops, women's hoops, NBA, high school, whatever, we going about to do it now. Let's start with the world of the NBA, y'all. You know, we're getting down to the crunch time here. Let's start with one. Joel Hans Embiid had a press conference today in Philadelphia and said that he plans on being back before the end of the season. That's it, depending how everything goes with his knee and everything, of course. That's big news for Philadelphia. And big news for Philadelphia. Me being a Sixers fan, that's big news. I'm gonna give you my opinion, but of course, you know, we got to go with the guests first. Pablo, how do you feel about Joel Embiid? And here's another question: should he sit out this season and wait till next season where he could be completely healthy?
Just as far as him coming back, obviously, you know what I mean, a talent like that, you know what I mean, a franchise player, obviously it would help, you know what I'm saying, with him coming back, you know, that's you know, to go without saying. But my only thing about him coming back is that you got to think about, you know, that it's a timing type of thing, you know what I mean? Like you could potentially mess up the team and the chemistry and what you got going on, just for the simple fact that, yeah, you might come back and you might be doing your thing, you might be scoring, doing your thing and all that, but you still got to get in shape. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be the biggest thing that I think will hurt the team. Maybe probably so on a defensive end, because he won't be in game shape. You know what I mean? It's going to take him a little while to get back in shape. So if he is going to come back, he better be coming back like right now so he gets some games under his belt. You know what I'm saying? So that I think that'll be more beneficial for the team than, you know, just him, you know, showing up, playing 1-2 games and then playoffs hit. And then he trying to go into the playoffs in the condition that he's in and, you know, still trying to get into the groove of it. So, I mean, I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword, you know what I'm saying, with that one. Obviously would help, but it can also hurt. And that's my take.
Very good points, man. Very, very good points. I agree. Will?
I mean, I'm torn on it, man, you know, because to be real, I know that just from being a fan of like OKC and seeing how that went, you know, with like KD, Russ, and like the windows that a team has for a championship can close, you know, sooner than anyone can think. So I do understand from that perspective, you know, you got Embiid before the injury plan at the highest level he's played at, which is insane considering he was the MVP last season. But you have to be careful, you know, the type of injury, you know, that he had, a knee injury, you know, we're talking about somebody that's, you know, like 7 foot, 7'1", like 270 or whatever, you know, that's part of what makes him great is, you know, the fluidity and the way he can move, you know, on the court. So that's in my opinion a dangerous thing, and you just look at the team overall, like Maxi, he's only going to be better. He's not going anywhere. They're going to have some cap flexibility from the moves they were able to make at the deadline. I mean, I'm not saying hang it up. If it looks like he really can be back, 100% cleared by the doctors, then I mean, I guess you have to do it. But I agree with Pablo. You got to give him some time to get in shape. You can't just throw him out there because that, can cause, problems of a different type.
Very good points. I agree too, man. I'm torn because part of me is telling me that I'd like to see Joel Embiid get completely healthy because since he's been in the league, we've never seen Joel Embiid come into a year completely healthy. And the Sixers right now, they haven't been playing that well. Right now, if they keep this up during the regular season, he doesn't come back, there'd probably be a playing playoff spot. I would say get ready for next year. They got money, they got cap money, all kinds of cap money. They're going to bring in probably somebody big next year, and let's see what he could do coming in healthy and in shape. Because the man was on his way, man, to having, man, maybe the best season we ever seen in our lifetime, possibly. He was on a terror.
Yeah, he was.
And but then again, part of me is like, hey, look. Joel Embiid comes back, let's say 10 games before the regular season. He's on minute restrictions conditioning. Playoffs come around, he might be able to do if he's completely healthy, he might be able to do a run with the Sixers the way Kawhi Leonard did with the Toronto Raptors. It's like you said, it's going to take some games before he gets into being Joel Embiid because he's been out for so long and he's a big man. Big man, you know how they are. They come back kind of slow. Yeah. So that's what have to happen with him, man. You can't rush an injury like this. You can't rush an injury, And of course, we wish Joel Embiid well because if Joel Embiid was completely healthy his whole career right now, it's no telling. We already know how great he is. There's no telling what would happen, man. It's just frightening to even think we're completely healthy with Joel Embiid could do. He's one of them centers that are rare. I mean, he's one of them once in a lifetime type centers that could do it all, man. But we wish him well.
And it's crazy, like when you think about when you see the footage of him in high school, like how awkward he was and stuff originally, learning the game and where he's been able to propel his game to. I mean, he's definitely a special player, man. I hope we get to see him fully healthy and really get to make a run at it.
Yeah, we need a championship in Philly. I'm telling you right now, we get a championship in Philly. I'll be the first one out there on Broad Street, man. I'm telling you that right now. I need one. I haven't seen one in 40 years since Moses. So that was what, 11 years old last time I saw a championship in Philly. So I need one bad. I need one. But as we stick with the world of the NBA, we're going to have an interesting take right here with the fellas, of course. We're going to talk about who are the top. We can do top five, maybe top three under 25 players in the league. Under the age of 25 players in the league. And also, who is the next face of the league after the Currys, the Durants, the LeBron James, the Jokic, the Giannis's? Not them near 29, 30. Who is the next face of this game we call basketball that's going to dominate next 10 or 15 years? Pablo, you're the guest, man. We start with you, brother.
Yeah, so, I mean, who's going to be the next face? Whew, man. I mean, we got some young gunners out there, so I would say the under 25 best players, obviously, Tatum, Shai, Luka. Damn, who am I missing? I'm probably missing a whole bunch of players, but those are the three that just pop up in my mind, just real quick. I think that as far as like the next face of the league, man, like it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be tough. I can't even really call that one. You know what I mean? Because I see guys like, what I mean. There could be guys. I feel like if Zion was to get his stuff together, you know what I'm saying? Like he would be one. Because when you talk face of the league, you know what I mean. You want somebody who kind of is a transcendent player, somebody who has that personality, somebody who everybody's gonna gravitate towards. And to be honest with you, I mean, I don't know. I don't know who we could pick. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who the next person could be, because I don't think we have a player that has like that total package that we see like from a LeBron, like that Kobe had, MJ,
Yeah.
even like Larry Bird and all that. So
Magic,
I don't really see like Magic. I don't really see too many players with like the total package. Like, yeah, they got the game, and as far as like the way they play, like, yeah, they could push the league forward with that type of thing. But like on the other side of it, you know what I'm saying? That's when it's got to be bigger than basketball. Who's the next player? I don't know, man. That's gonna be hard to say.
I got a name, but I'm gonna save that till after y'all done. I got a name. Will.
So I don't know about as far as like off the court, because that's tough. That's a different situation. But I will say it's crazy to think that, first of all, that Luka is only 24, right? He's already so established. So to be real, like he's of course in the face of the league conversation, but I'm not even going to like count him for what we're talking about with the under 25. I was gonna say SGA, but I looked, he's actually 25, so he just missed the cut. But I'm gonna go with Ant Edwards. I feel like
Good choice.
has a big personality, that a lot of people can relate to. Like we were talking about with the Cam Newton segment, he talks the talk, but 9 times out of 10, he's backing it up. He really elevates his game, in moments where his team needs him. And, as much as I'm a Kentucky fan and I root for all New Jersey players, I do have to give him a lot of credit with the turnaround with the Timberwolves. They're playing winning basketball, and I'm not saying it's just him, but I do feel like when your best player approaches the game in a certain way, the rest of the guys kind of rally around that. Then we gotta include your boy JP. Wemby's got to be in there. I mean, he's only he just turned 20, I think. He's putting up stat lines that we haven't really seen. And only scratching the surface. Like, I saw a tweet and I had to stop and think about it. It was like, it's crazy that this is the worst Wemby's ever going to be. Like when you really think about it, like he's 20, but like 11 and 3-4 blocks a night at the worst he will ever be in his life. You know what I mean? Like that is insane. And then the other guy, man, I mean, he plays like a game that isn't based on like being above the rim and stuff. So I feel like it's easy to kind of forget about him. But Tyrese Halliburton, man, he's only 23, and he is something I feel like we haven't seen in a little while, as far as like, a point guard that really just elevates the players around him and enjoys setting the table.
Man, that's a good point. You took my pick too, what you said. I'm going with Wembanyama. I think Wembanyama is going to dominate this league that we haven't seen the likes of for the next 15 years. I really do. The only thing is, of course, he's an international player. He's French. He's from France. But I think he has the personality. And, of course, he has the game. We haven't seen a big man like this. I mean, my boy Lou sent me a clip the other day, man. He comes down the court. He gets in his bag, of course, dribbling between the legs. Then he shoots like a no-look three. It's like a man this size and 7'5" shouldn't be doing this. He should. I mean, it's like I tell people this. They like, well, Jay, you going? No, I'm not going too far. We have never seen a big man with the skill bag that he has. As far as the ball handling, I've never seen a big man handle the ball like him. I've never seen nothing like this.
JP, let me ask you, Pablo, a question. Y'all a little older than me. Would y'all say, and this is a name that I've only seen clips of, he was done playing, but what would you say about Wemby being kind of one of the sons in like the evolution of Ralph Sampson? Because the clips I saw, it may not be to the level of the way Wemby's bringing it down and stuff like that, but he was like what you would call a unicorn of his time for sure.
Yeah, so I think the biggest difference between those guys is that Wemby is a little more perimeter based than Ralph Sampson, was. Ralph Sampson was a hell of an athlete, though. You know what I'm saying? Him and Wilt Chamberlain was guys that could get up and down the court in a few strides, super athletic, but they did most of their damage, obviously, closer to the rim. I do think that, if the evolution of basketball was what it was, what it was back then, if times were fast forwarded it a little bit and like you had big guys kind of playing out on the perimeter, those are two guys that absolutely could have been like Wemby, you know what I'm saying? That could have looked like Wemby if you would, you know what I'm saying? Because back then, big guys wasn't shooting threes. They wasn't even practicing shit like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was more so jump hook, sky hook, dunk on you, grab rebounds. They were playing closer to the rim. But those guys and how skilled they were, you know what I'm saying? You do some 2024 training with those guys, you know what I'm saying? Oh man. They would probably be 2 times better than Wemby. You know what I mean? Just from the sheer aspect of their athleticism and their fluidity and the way they moved on the court, you know what I'm saying? Like, even though, Wemby, he still got it, you know what I'm saying? But those guys, you got to understand, even when those guys came in the league, they were strong. They were like grown men, strong, you know what I mean? So it's a little different. What you think, JP?
Well, I've been on record saying about Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain, in my opinion, was the greatest physical talent and probably the best athlete the NBA's ever seen. And the reason why I say that is because people forget he was a 6'9" high jumper. I don't know, people that know track and field understand how hard that is. So your bar is 6'9". Wilt is 7 foot. Wilt is 7'1", 7'2". That means he had to run, jump over top of the bar, and it wasn't going backwards the way they do now. He had to go forward over the bar. He was a Big Ten champion at that. He was a 56-foot shot putter. Dude, the shot put 56 feet at his side and never really trained for it. From what I understand, now they also said he was a 51 second quarter miler, running the 400 meter, running the 440. I mean, he was the best athlete we've ever seen in the NBA by far. And I agree with the. He's probably the strongest player to ever play in the NBA, including with Shaq and stuff. Because I've heard ridiculous amounts that Wilt could bench 650 pounds. I heard that from somebody.
I believe it.
Yeah, I heard that from a friend from a friend of my family who knew somebody that played. I'm not gonna say the player's name. I'll tell you off the air about that. But he knew this player that played with Wilt, and he asked him how many pounds was Wilt bench pressing. He told him Wilt was benching 650 pounds. And I'm like, man, come on, man. He's like, yeah. He said, I'm telling you what he told me. He said 650 pounds. I'm like, man. And but I agree though. Wilt Chamberlain, because you gotta remember the game that was played back there, even with Ralph Sampson, it was more inside out instead of outside in. It was more of an inside game compared to today with the perimeter. I agree. Wilt Chamberlain and Ralph Sampson were great mid-range shooters. And Ralph Sampson had a pretty jump shot too. Yeah. And the knee injuries really held Ralph Sampson back. He's one of the most athletic players to play too. Like you said, well, look at the video clips we had at University of Virginia, dunking on James Worthy and that. Man, my goodness. 7'4", man. But Wemby is the closest thing we've seen to them. He's a better outside shooter than both. Shot blocking, Wilt was probably the best shot blocker ever. But let me tell you something. Wemby, when it's all said and done, is going to be up. Is going to be up in there. It's like I said. I think Wemby's ceiling is Kareem and Wilt. I really do think that it could be the next evolution of that type of big man, where we see Kareem and Wilt and everybody else. That's going to be Wemby. I really do think. And one more point, Anthony Edwards, man, he's going to be he's going to be the face of the league. And we're leaving out one more player too, John Morant. I think John's what 23, 24.
Honestly, we left out a few. Like the talent in the league is crazy, no matter what people want to say. Because I mean, you got Ja. We didn't mention Pablo Banchero. Alperen Sengun. Like there's a long list of players, man. But like to think that a couple players as accomplished as like we were talking about Luka, are still not 25 years old, man. It's crazy.
It's crazy. In my opinion, people say, "Oh, Jay, we get to these debates." I always say the '80s was the best era that I've seen. I grew up watching that in the '80s. '90s was Jordan dominated, but it was there was some great players. Don't get me wrong, but I think top to bottom, right now, this is the most talent we've seen in the NBA in its history. And what I mean by that is we seeing LeBron at 39 years old. We see Kevin Durant at 35. We see the Currys. We see all them. Then, of course, you got the young players nowadays like the Wembys, the Anthony Edwards, and John Morants, and Joel Embiid is up there too now, and Jokic them. From top to bottom, man, the league is just – I've never seen this much talent ever, as much as we're seeing right now in the NBA.
Facts. I'm with you on that. I'm definitely with you on that. I think the talent level is absolutely insane. And I think the game's changed a lot too. So, I think it's a lot more exciting than when it used to be too. So that's probably adding a little bit more onto, people's perception of the game and how it's played. So I think it's just, I think we're in a good place, man. We just got to find that next superstar, you know what I'm saying? That who's supposed to just take the league by storm and supposed to just carry the mantle, you know what I'm saying? It was supposed to be guys like AD and shit like that. But, AD, he gotta get his body right so he can't stay hurt. He's
been durable this year, man. He's been durable. AD's a special player, man. Like you said, when he comes to play, man, he's up there with the upper echelon, of players. Real quick, y'all, there was something that came out this week about Allen Iverson. I saw it on Gilbert Arenas' podcast, but Gilbert Arenas said he would do it. They said how many points would AI average today with this no hand checking rule? And I think AI himself said he would average like about 43 a game. And Gilbert, you know what? I believe it too, because back when AI played, like I said, the game was more inside out back then. And the way he used to drive into the big men, he used to get hammered. He got hammered like a big man. Like you see Shaq hammer him, Charles Oakley, Rodman, and all that. He would still keep on ticking. But man, and AI could shoot the ball, could score, but could you picture him with a deadly, like, long-range jump shot with what with the bag that he had? And you can't really touch the players the way he does? Yeah. I think AI would average 40 a game, 40 points a game, definitely. And people forget AI his athleticism was crazy too.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. Well, I'll let you go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
I don't think it's far-fetched at all. AI was averaging over 30 a game, in a slower era, as far as like the pace of the game and all of that. And he was playing majority of his career surrounded by 4 other players that couldn't score. So, averaging 30 in that circumstance, you give him more freedom of movement, and he would actually get the whistle that he's supposed to get from the referees, in this era. He's probably getting an extra damn near 10 free throws a night, the way they call the game now. You look at Harden in his prime, or maybe like somebody like SGA or Luka now, the way they get to the line, probably like 10 times a night. AI is easily hitting that mark. And No, he wasn't a great outside shooter, but that mid range. And as we know, that's a timeless shot. And with his quickness, he's either getting to the rim or getting that shot whenever he wants.
Yeah, man, he is. He definitely is. He definitely is, man. Um, AI was a monster, man. I remember I followed his career from. I remember the first time I heard about him. I guess when he was about a sophomore in high school or something like that, coming up out of Bethel, out of Virginia. And I'm like, okay, who's this guy? And then I followed him like to his junior year. Then you come and find out he's one of the top 5 football players in the country. Along with this, I'm like, man, he got his teams over state championship in football and basketball.
Bro,
I'm like, man. And then, of course, we know what happened with the jealousy, dumb stuff that should have never went to trial anyway. With him not playing his senior year, because I was really looking forward to seeing him his senior year and see what he could do. But because of the racist ass court system down there and everything, he went through stuff. But he persevered. He went to the right situation. John Thompson took him in, and of course, as usual, he became one of the greatest players of all time. Definitely one of the all-time greats, and pound for pound, one of the top 5 toughest players to play in this game too. Because he took some beatings that a big man don't even take.
Absolutely, he's about to get named after him out here too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, AI was special, man. He's definitely a special ball player. But as we move on, stay into the realm of college basketball. Of course, as always, we start ladies first. Ladies first. So we're coming down to the stretch run of this. Can anybody first off, let's talk about Caitlin Clark first off. She broke the record. She's 18 points shy now, 18 points shy now of breaking Pete Maravich's record in NCAA history, Division I. Pablo, what do you think about Caitlin Clark? And she declared for the WNBA today too. She declared for the draft.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that saying that she's gonna go to the draft and forego her 5th COVID year or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Caitlin Clark is a phenomenal player. I mean, just when you watch the games, though, man, it kind of looks a little one-sided, to where you see it looks as if, well, it is pretty one-sided. I mean, she takes all the shots. You know what I'm saying? And it's pretty clear, I mean, that she's taking all the shots. But it's amazing though how she's able to carry her team and still win, though. You know what I mean? And still taking that volume of shots. But like I said, ultimately, I mean, she's a great player. I like watching her play. She's exciting. I just don't think they can compete with a team like South Carolina or nothing like that. But you know what I'm saying? Like Caitlin Clark she's special though. She's special for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
I mean, witnessing history is always amazing, so seeing that within striking distance of this Louise record that stood for years, it's special stuff, man. And her declaring for the draft is dope too, because I mean it's pretty obvious she's gonna be the number 1 pick. And I'm just thinking in my mind like her and Aaliyah Boston out there with Elisa Smith at the end of Fever, man, they're gonna be must watch next season. If that's the route that they go. And I know those ticket prices are about to jump.
Yeah, man. Caitlin Clark's a special player, man. Like Pablo said, she does take a lot of jump shots, but she be dissing them assists, and her range is phenomenal, man. And looking forward, to see what she does in the tournament this year, and we'll see what's going to happen. I guess the other point with college women's basketball. Is anyone going to stop the South Carolina Express this year that we're seeing right now? Pablo, you're always the guest, brother. You go first.
So, just me knowing what I know about women's basketball and watching some games this year, I haven't followed as closely as I should. But from what I see, there's no way in hell that anybody's going to be able to beat South Carolina. It's just not going to happen. Only way that anybody's going to be able to beat South Carolina is if they suffer like a major injury or something like that. Other than that, they're just too talented and too deep, man. And Dawn Staley is a hell of a coach. You know what I mean? And she got those girls locked in, and they completely bought into everything she's putting out. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I mean, I think they going. Who's the most talented team other than him? Who is it? LSU. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think LSU. I don't know. I think it'll be tough. I think it's going to be tough to beat South Carolina. I'll just say that.
Yeah, unless they have an off night like they had last year against Iowa in the Final Four. When Caitlin went off on them, and and South Carolina just had an off shooting night. Will, what do you think?
I'm not gonna say they can't do it, but it'll be hard, man. Biggest issue that they had was shooting previously. Raven Johnson taking a major step. They went and got Tahina Pow from Oregon. She makes big buckets for them. And then too, like it's kind of crazy. Like speaking to Dawn Staley, like to have a team as deep as they are, they still have players that are, kind of having breakthroughs and elevating their game. Ashley Watkins, coming off the bench, and she's arguably, one of the probably three best power forwards in the game right now. It's going to be rough, man. I will say if there's teams that can maybe give them a good game, of course, they probably won't. They may end up seeing LSU again. I think UCLA, they're a pretty deep team, and they have some size and some scoring and things of that nature that can make it pretty interesting. And then, of course, I don't think it will be good as far as like a competitive game because of the difference in the way the teams are distributed. But I would love to see Juju, man, try to have one of those historic games against them, man.
Yeah, me too, man. It's going. This women. The tournaments coming up, men's and women's, going to be phenomenal. As we move on to the world of college basketball, before we get into about the teams and stuff, man, let's talk about this court storming stuff, y'all. I mean, I'm gonna save my opinion for last, man, because man, I got a lot to say about it. Pablo, go ahead, man. You can start off, brother, leading this thing about this court storming nonsense that we're seeing.
All right, so I feel like if you court storm, you should get arrested. No, I'm just playing with you, man. So I don't know, man. I feel like it really is a safety hazard if you really look at it, and if you just really like I didn't do a lot of research, but I just did a little bit of research, right? And just a little bit of research I did, and some of the court stormings I looked up and shit, and it's like players have gotten hurt, and players have gotten hit, punched, pushed, and different things have happened. And I think the only time this stuff is really going to change, this really going to change is when one of these big old players start knocking fans out. They start doing that, you know what I'm saying? Then I think the NCAA and the schools will take it a little more serious, and they'll start trying to make a rule and really enforce the rules of the court storm and stuff, because ultimately, like, I just don't think that I know a lot of people say that it's exciting and all that. I don't know. I just don't see that. It doesn't really serve a purpose, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because they only show it for just a little bit, and then it goes away, and then it's like, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, ultimately, you want to keep these players in safe. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, Will.
I agree, man. When I think about it, whether it's college, high school, you got a game the way it used to go. Like, if there's a big, if anything, at least in high school, like, you have the winning team on the stand with the fans of that team. You know what I mean? Celebrating with their fans or whatever. But the storming of the court, that brings a whole different layer of, danger, for players. And I mean, I know that they do the best that they can do, but in this day and age, you just never know, man. Like, there's so many ways to look at it. Like Pablo said, a player knocks out a fan, fans targeting players of the rival team and things of that nature. You don't want to allow for people to reach of these players because at the end of the day, it's not about the money or anything like that, but you have to protect these athletes, because without them, we have no games. We have none of the things that we love and enjoy.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think first off, the incident took place on Saturday with Duke and Wake Forest. I don't know what the hell was Wake Forest's security plan for that game, because there was no protection of the players or anything or anything like that at all, man. And it was an unfortunate incident to see Popowski get hurt like that. Here go people talk about well, he clotheslined somebody, did something. He's a player. These people should not be on the damn court, period. He was defending himself. You got hundreds of people, thousands of people running on the court and stuff, and you out there, I mean, what do you expect the man to do? He had to defend himself somehow. And I question Wake Forest's security plan for that game, because they did not prepare for that. There should have been, okay, the fans stormed the court. There should be some type of rope or something like that there, where the players are on one side, the fans are the other. Okay, you can't stop thousands of people. I understand that. You got 50, 60 security guards. You can't stop 4,000 or 5,000 people from storming on the court. I understand that. But there's got to be better ways of doing security. And like you and Pablo said, when it's going to come down to one day, where a major riot's going to break out in one of these games one day. And like you said, some of these fans be taunting and stuff. They brought up a point the other day on First Take, Stephen A. and oh man, who was it? Was it JJ Redick or one of them was? Yeah, I forgot who it was. But they were talking about the other day about how the '84 championship series between Boston and LA, when the Boston fans stormed the court, and they were talking about how Larry Bird was knocking fans out because he's trying to get out the crowd. But what they forgot to talk about too was that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar got attacked during after the game was over. I remember Kareem talking about like a couple of fans punched him and hit him and stuff when he was trying to get off the court and stuff. You can't, and as a result of that, you see they had court storming in the NBA in about 40 years. You never see NBA having court storming because it's like Stephen A. and them said. You have security that are former police officers. They know what they're doing. They don't never have that problem. They know what they're doing. They put people in place. This is what these colleges like to start doing, man, because you don't want to see a situation where somebody is going to get seriously hurt. And thank God the kid from Duke didn't get seriously hurt, because supposing towards ACL was something right there in the middle of that stampede. You have a different story nowadays.
It'd have been bad. And just real quick too, I was watching the UK and Mississippi State game, and I swear Mississippi State had about 50 police officers at the game, and they were prepared for court storming in case Mississippi State was to win. They literally had probably like their whole police force there. Granted, there's probably not much to do in Mississippi, so I get it. They probably had time on their hands, but you know what I'm saying? They still had, the common sense to, have a presence, you know what I'm saying, in the arena. And I think that would have been everything. You know what I mean? They would have been able to deter that, and not just that. If you think about it, like the cameras and everything that they have, I feel like if you court storm, they should just ban you. They should just ban you for the game for 10 years or something like that. That'll teach people. You know what I'm saying? And not just that, like mostly students that's doing it anyway. So okay, you want to storm the court? Kick them out of school. Do something drastic. And that'll change everything for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel.
Or better yet, kick them out of school. You want to run on the court. But people, of course, see how the media is, see how the media does. They're like, oh, they're just kids having fun. Man, get the hell out of here. Because not to say it like that, but hey, truth is truth. We've seen plenty of times when black kids storm the court or does stuff like that there, what's the first thing they say? Oh, look how they're acting. Look at they're doing this, blah, 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 whatever. It's all for one. It should be one for all, period.
Agree.
Period.
Lock
Okay.
those studs up.
Oh, go ahead. What were you saying, Will?
I was joking. I said lock those studs up.
As we're going on, like as right now we're going on. Speaking of court storming, we're going to the men's um, side of things. What do we see, y'all, coming down the stretch here? We get ready for the conference tournaments and everything else going on. Pablo, what do you see? What do you see is going to happen, man, for the next couple of weeks before the NCAA tournament? Who is going to get the number one seeds in each region that you see?
I mean, I think it's pretty clear cut as far as the like number one seeds. Only thing that's up for debate is I think it's going to be was it the East seed? I think it is. I think it's going to definitely be Purdue, UConn, Houston, and they say in Arizona, but I don't know. Arizona about another loss away from talking up that number one seed. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure who's going to get the number one seed in that region, but as far as like just coming down to the home stretch, man, and like college basketball is just so interesting, man, because it seems like every week, these highly ranked teams they get knocked off, and you got some teams that just playing well, man. Obviously I'm a Duke fan. You know what I'm saying? We're playing pretty well right now. We got healthy. We got a couple guys that are banged up, but it's just I mean I like a bunch of teams, man. Like like teams like Purdue. We don't believe and I'm not trusting them right now. And obviously I like you. I like you a lot. You know what I'm saying? So and I really like UK. I like UK a lot. And I like their chances. But if they can get their defense to a respectable level, they can beat anybody, man. I'll tell you that right now. And at the end of the day, the firepower that they have on that team is lethal. Absolutely lethal. So, college basketball is pretty fluid right now, man. It's gonna do what it do, but it's gonna be exciting, bro.
Yeah. Well, go. I know you got a lot to say, brother. Especially you see your Kentucky Wildcats been looking real good lately.
Yeah, I do. I'm glad they're finding different ways to win. It's a blowout one night down to the wire, but I'm just glad that they're all season. I feel like no matter what social media has to say, they've shown nothing but a team, and they're another. So I do like that. Reeves is hooping. Reed crazy. You never know when Bob is going to have 17, 18 straight points. And then Edwards coming around. We still saw DJ before he got hurt, so we can see him get back and just there's a lot there, man. Cal, he gets a lot of flack, but he's doing a hell of a job keeping everybody engaged, keeping all of those players ready when their number is called. But the field, man, it's a lot of talent. Like we talked about for JP, even though they lost, think otherwise, they just have a really balanced team. They hit the right addition. They got the impact freshman Stephon Castle, and then you can't see Sod again. He is down there, and in his own way. You know what I'm saying? So, and I would say, I don't care if Purdue be somebody. I just don't believe in it. Like, I just feel like they're a second round exit, like just waiting to happen every year.
I agree, man. I think out of the number one seeds, Purdue, and the problem with Purdue, I think, is they lack athleticism at the guard positions. I think that's their real downfall of why they're not really good. They're not really athletic enough to like deal with the big teams. Kentucky, they play the way they play against Alabama. They could beat anybody. I mean, the way they played the other day. That's a national championship team. And Edwards, man, what can you say? I mean, man, what was he 10 for 10? What was he 10 for 10 from the field? He didn't miss a shot
Yeah,
all
against
night.
Alabama. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a very good team they played. So you saw it too online. Criticism about DJ and stuff like that. There, people need to lay off DJ, man. You know, it's like I say, we have to understand he's playing a new position. He's always in high school. He was used to having the ball in his hands, taking the shots and everything. And in fairness to him, with high school, he played a lot of course, he played his whole career off the ball because he had a great point guard he played with Sion Medley. Sion Medley is one of the best pure point guards we've ever seen come out of South Jersey. You know, you get to understand he's playing a position of running the show. Like you said, he's had a couple of injuries this year. But he's had some big games too. Look at what he did against North Carolina. Had some big shots there. Who did he drop that 28 on? North Carolina, Asheville, I think. He dropped 28. We know what DJ could do. Folks got to let him be DJ. He'll be okay. He'll be fine. He's starting. He's running the show. He's giving you about 10, 11 points a game, 4 or 5 assists a game. I mean, the kid's having, as far as I'm concerned, a pretty good year. He is. He's showing you he can play at this level. So, you know, they got to give him time.
You make shots, but one thing it comes down to scout and a coach. Pablo, when we're talking about Kentucky, one of the things Pablo is on is that DJ 9 times out of 10 right play, whether the shot he shoots goes in or not, he's always in the right position, he's making the right play. So the IQ is clearly there. He's doing his thing, man. But Pablo, I like to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, nah, I mean, my take on DJ, I mean, like when I see him play, you know what I'm saying? Like I said before on the group chat, I mean, I see a kid that just makes the right plays, man, like every single time, make the right pass. He's never really out of position. I think the biggest thing, not that's wrong with him, but I think that DJ probably has the most pressure on him than any player on the roster. And that's because of who his dad is, you know, what he did, you know, and what they did in high school and who he's playing for now. Nobody really expected, you know, Pete to come in and kill. They really didn't think he'd play or not. You know what I'm saying? They thought he'd be the 3rd, 4th, 5th guy on the bench. So he's playing with absolutely nobody. You know what I'm saying? Rob is coming off the bench, and all they want him to do is score. So he's playing with no pressure. You know what I'm saying? DJ is starting the game. He's got to run the team. You know what I'm saying? He's still got to play his game. You know, he's got to live up to all these expectations. You know, and he's playing well. You know what I'm saying? He's playing well. He's not like he's playing bad. He's playing well. You know what I'm saying? I think you got to be patient with him and just let him cook. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna lead y'all to the promised land more times than not, in my opinion.
Good point. Very, very good points. And I would say by the time the tournament comes around, you're going to probably see a different DJ. You're going to see more aggressive DJ. You know, he's like people like, you know, he's been dealing with some injuries. Comes to the tournament, man. That's another dimension you have with him in Kentucky. It's going to be scary times. And I agree about UConn, man. I think right now, based off what you see, UConn did wet the bed a little bit a couple of weeks ago when they lost to Creighton. That's a good loss, I think, for this time of year. But I think this UConn team is better than the UConn team from last year that won the national championship. I think they're a little more balanced, maybe a little, not say balanced, but a little more deeper than they were last year. Last year's team was a very good national championship team. This year, and consider what they lost too. It's amazing, what's going on. We also got to give Calvin Sampson his due, man, when he's doing at University of Houston, man. He never gets mentioned as being one of the top 3 or 4 coaches in college basketball. What he did with that program and turned that program into a perennial powerhouse now, where they've been to a Final Four, they've been to an Elite 8, they've been to a Sweet 16, is amazing. Because Houston was down for years until he came back, man. But he's a hell of a coach, man. Calvin Sampson. What do you all feel about Calvin Sampson, Pablo?
Yeah, man. I mean, I actually was had the pleasure of meeting him and his son uh, last spring at the Adidas tournament, and he's a really good dude. Ultimately, I think the reason why he's really not mentioned that much is because he always wins with players that nobody knows about. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't do it with highly rated players. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't get the 5 stars or whatever. You know, I mean, he do get some every now and then, but he just win in his style of play too. He wins with defense. You know what I'm saying? Anytime, it's a situation where it's not really flashy or whatever, you kind of see, coaches get downplayed. And it's the same thing. It's kind of like how Tony Bennett is at Virginia. He's known for defense. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, they downplay, what they do as coaches, but they really don't see and understand, the brilliance, that you see on both sides of the ball. So, I'm super high on Kelvin Sampson, obviously, and I think, put him in any program and you're going to have a spike and trending in a positive direction, as far as coaching and winning games. So, yeah, I fuck with Kelvin.
Yeah. What do you think, Will?
No, I've been Kelvin Sampson fan. Going back to when he was with Eric Gordon and Jay White, but seeing kind of the resurgence in Houston is really dope to see. Pablo said he's got to be on top of the list of guys and players that fit his system. Phenomenal at that. And really, no disrespect to the guys. I'm not trying to say no disrespect to the players, but you damn near look at it. It could be the three of us, two other guys, and he's still going.
Yeah, man. I agree. Well, we got one little. We're going to touch over this real quick before we wrap this show up. Y'all. Let's talk a little bit about high school basketball. We coming down the stretch run here where a lot of states are playing for state championships and national championships are on the line. And I guess we're going to have to start off with as I call it, the Montverde Express, because Long Island Lutheran, I think, what was it, 2 weeks ago, rolled over them by 33 points. I don't see anybody really beating this team at all this year. Pablo, what do you think? I think this team is going to go like 35-0 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty foregone conclusion that they're going to pretty much be undefeated this year. I don't think there's a high school team out there that can really compete with them. They might be able to hang with them for a quarter, but through 4 quarters or 2 halves, however one they playing, it's just not going to happen. They just have too much talent, man. I mean, at every position they have talent. Then they have a backup, coming in at that same position. That's probably, even the backup player is probably better than the starter on the other team. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things, man, that, they just a powerhouse, man. And Kevin Boyle, he got them rolling, man. With that star power out there, it's nothing you can do. I mean, you can just hope for the best when you play against them.
You're right, Will.
I mean, any player of the caliber of can be kind of in the media. That's how you know, man. That's absolutely ridiculous. The amount of talent. You may see teams where they're sending some guys like and stuff, but every single guy, they're high major. If you're an NBA scout, you will send them. But yeah, I definitely support you guys. I'd be shocked if they lost. I mean, one thing we can say is that the talent is there, but Cooper Flag, I feel like leads by example. And I've never seen him take a game off. And when you have your best player, with that mindset, and a coach that lets you know when you up, like Coach Boyle, that's a recipe for success.
Yeah, man. Yeah. People. This might be the best team Kevin Boyle ever had. He's had some great teams between not only Montverde but also he's a coach of St. Pat's in Elizabeth. I
That's
mean, he's had some great teams. Definitely had some great teams. We look at New Jersey here, and of course Camden High. They're still rolling well. Don Bosco Prep. Think they're going to be a team to beat in parochial way with Donald Harper. Donald Harper, man, to me, he doesn't get the credit that I feel as though he really deserves. I mean, he's just a bucket getter. He's just a bucket getter. And I think he's going to be a great player at the collegiate level and eventually when he goes to the NBA, man. I mean, his fundamentals, like Pablo, you talk about making the right play. He makes the right plays. He's very fundamentally sound. He can carry the team, man. You know, I mean, he's definitely one. As far as I'm concerned, it's Cooper, Ace Bailey. You can say one or two, 1A, 1B. They're just Dylan Harper right there with him, man. What do you think about Dylan Harper, Pablo?
I mean, obviously, I'm big on him, man. I think I've seen him play live a lot. You know what I mean? So I think for me, the biggest thing for me, and like as far as what I think about Dylan Harper is, I like the pace that he plays at, and I just like the way he controls the game. You know what I mean? He controls the game so well that he's even when he's not particularly scoring. You know what I mean? It seems like he has everything under control. You know what I'm saying? And not just that, he's thinking like 2 plays ahead of everybody. So like the game, it's one of those things where, they say for players, the game just slows down for players and they're able to think, way faster than other people process the information and actually, put it to use on the court. I think that's what you see with Dylan Harper, man, is that you see that happening so much that it looks like he's literally 2-3 plays ahead of people. You know what I'm saying? And not just that, he's just a bigger guard, 6'5", and to me, he's a point guard. He's a point guard, you know what I mean? That can score, you know what I'm saying? So, man, he's tough, bro. He's tough, you know what I'm saying? And I know you say Ace Bailey and Cooper Flag, before him, but it's close, man.
He's there with him. He's there with him. You know who Dylan Harper reminds me of a lot in a lot of ways. He reminds me of Devin Booker.
Devin Booker, okay.
He reminds me of Devin Booker in a lot of ways. The way he plays the game. Devin Booker, James Harden type. A lot of people say James Harden too. He reminds me of Devin Booker.
I see the James Harden comparison a lot. I see the James Harden thing because of the way they play, but the only thing I don't see, in reference to James Harden and Dylan Harper is just I don't think that he's not so offensive minded as as James Harden is. You know what I mean? He really gets his team involved in everything that he's doing, and out there on the court. So and and the other thing too, and this is my last point on Dylan Harper, is that he makes everybody better, man. Everybody better on the court, bro. And I love that, you know what I'm saying, when players do that, man. Like, anybody could go out there and just shoot and just rack up, stats and numbers. Not anybody, but most elite players can just rack up numbers. And when you're making other guys better, man, that's the type of stuff that translates to higher levels of basketball, man. And that's why that kid is gonna be one and done for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree. Will.
Dylan, man, he's definitely gonna make Booker fans very happy. Them tickets probably to the rack, man. But super talented player. I think he kind of is pushed to the side. There's a lot of comparisons, but I do think as far as like the top of the class, he is a legitimate good player. Race. And as far as impact to winning, you can argue that Dylan has the highest impact because Ace may have the most golf numbers. You know, Cooper's numbers, but he also plays on a super loaded team. Dylan is really out there raising the floor and the ceiling of the team. You know, so I definitely have a lot of respect for
Yeah, man. I mean, y'all made some real good points, man. With Dylan Harper, especially him making his teammates better, and every day the kid could shoot the ball. Actually, I saw a video clip the other day at I think it was the first round of the playoff game. He did a double pump dunk, and Ryan Harper walked out the gym. He said, "I've seen enough." That's what he's like. He said, "I've seen enough." Walked out the gym, man. But as we put a close on, well, you know what? We got to talk about one more player, man. Man, did you see the highlights of Billy Richmond last night? That game against the Minson, the Camden had against the Minson, the dunks he had. My goodness. My goodness. Pablo, we're going to do a real quick take on this. What do you think about Billy Richmond, man, and how he's going to fit in at Kentucky? I think he's one of the most underrated players in the country.
I think I'm pretty sure I had a conversation with Will probably about 3 weeks or a month ago. And I said, man, I forget where Billy Richmond is ranked, but however many players they got ranked in front of him, I just don't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it, you know what I mean? I think that kid is an absolute animal. I absolutely love his game. I love his motor. To me, he reminds me of a really fluid RJ Barrett. You know what I'm saying? Like, just a really fluid RJ Barrett. And a straight dog, man. Straight dog, you know what I mean? And that's one thing that you can always bet on is, you know what I mean, a East Coast guard, New Jersey. He's from New Jersey, right?
He's from Memphis originally.
Okay, but he lived in okay. So you can pretty much, you can bank on, an East Coast guard, you know what I'm saying? Going being a dog and going to do his thing, and going to Kentucky, that's the right school for him. You know what I mean? Especially with the open style of play that they play. Can you imagine Billy Richmond? Right? You see the offense that Kentucky's running this year, where they just want to run and just push and just run. Can you imagine him in the open court next year, man? It's gonna be a movie, bro. It's gonna be a movie. You thought those dunks were crazy last night? Shit, he's gonna be doing crazy shit next year. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've seen him lots of times play, man. What do you think about Mr. Richmond and the show he put on last night?
Man, he's a player that embraces the moment, like the crowd, likes to talk to the crowd, while he's playing. He's just got a flair, man. Like he floats, man, quick. His leaping is. I think he'll be a great fit and another dynamic player. The New Jersey or Lexington pipeline is running strong, man, and I'm glad to see it, man. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I mean, he's the next in a long line of Camden players. Of course, I know the history of Camden High School basketball. I mean, it starts off with Ron E. Smith. Then you had, of course, you had Dwayne Smalls. Then you had, I guess, Danny Ruckers, Charles Brad. I'm going back to players from 60s and 70s. A lot of people don't know about Billy Culbertson. And then you got Milt Wagner. Then you got Greg Barr, DeJuan Wagner. I mean, the list, you know what I mean, goes on as far as guards go to come out of Camden, and he's just a late, of course, DJ and Aaron Walton Moss, you remember him and stuff. And there's just a list, he's just in a list of long line, great players that, of course, man, hell, I can't forget about Kevin Walls, too. Kevin Walls, they had a story of him on NJ.com, how 40 years ago he averaged 45 points a game. Now Camden really got robbed of a national title in '84. They were 31-0. But they got robbed. That's a story for another day. We're coming up with that. Hopefully we'll have that coming up soon, Will. But yeah, man. But Billy Richmond's just in a long line of great Camden players that have come through. Fellas, great show, man. Great show tonight, man. As always, Pablo, with you being a special guest, brother, tell the people that you can reach him. I think you got a kind of a special announcement. You said that you want to make as well tonight on the show, as you only get exclusively here on Generations of the Game podcast.
Yeah. Nah, facts, man. Nah, like I said before, man, I appreciate y'all having me on. And always feel like I'm around family when I get a chance to, conversate with you guys.
No doubt.
Yeah. So, yeah, nah, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been working on something special. Now it's just coming to fruition. Accumen Scouting Group, baby. You know what I'm saying? We in the building. You know what I'm saying? You could, you know what I'm saying? You can see us, at circuit stops at different places, scouting players. So basically, what it is it's just a scouting group. You know what I'm saying? Where we just gonna shine the light on some players, on all players. I mean, from high school to the NBA to international. You know what I'm saying? We're just gonna do our things. We're trying to branch out as much as possible. Have scouts pretty much in different locations doing different things, and sometimes you'll see us together. Yeah, we're in the building, so it's obviously I founded it. I got my man Will. You know what I'm saying? I got my man Urson. I got my man Darian, and I'm announcing. I got my man JP. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I got my man JP. So we're 5 deep so far, man, and we always, you know what I'm saying, looking to add, you know what I'm saying, more recruiting talent, you know what I'm saying, for us, for more scouting talent, to the group. So yeah, I just want to say welcome aboard, JP, and
Thank you.
obviously Will, my man, you know what I'm saying. I appreciate you, you know what I'm saying. When I extended the offer to you, you was all for it. I'm excited, man. I'm super excited. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be out there this spring. And we're going to get it cracking, man. We're going to get it cracking. We're going to do what we do. And we're going to come up with the best product possible, man. You know what I'm saying? And just represent for all the kids that, might not have a voice. And even for the kids that have a voice, we're going to leverage our relationships. And we just gonna get it popping, man. Y'all just gotta stay tuned, man. Accumen Scouting Group. You can follow us on Twitter at Accumen SG7. And yeah, shoot me a follow. We're gonna be in the building, man.
Definitely, man. And of course, thanks for the invite, man. Now I'm not gonna be able to make every event, but I will be at some events. Yeah. Guaranteed. Yeah. I will be at some of the events, and like you said, you're gonna see us together sometimes too. And I just want like the people out there to know, and the coaches and stuff. I guess we should tell this too. We're not out here shitting on kids and going to be like, oh, this one's a bum and da. Especially these kids who are trying to make it. We're here to add a different voice to the game and do a lot of positive things for the youth and stuff, which a lot of young people need. That's what we want to do. We want to see these kids go to school and go to college and stuff and succeed in life. It goes beyond basketball. There's a game called life too. But hey, man, you get a kid and he can eventually go to the NBA. That road, that the rubber meets the road, that's down the road for us. But I'm excited about us, what we're trying to do now with this, man. And, be a part of this game. Be a part of this game. Will, what to do, brother? Kick the shout outs, bro.
Yes, sir. Shout out to my co-host JP. Shout out to the family, Pablo, Accumen, Scouting Group definitely on the way. Shout out to the family. Not able to do this without like good ones, and of course everybody that supports us and episodes in.
Yes, sir. For behalf of our special guest Pablo. Well, actually, Pablo's he's a regular guest here. You know what I'm saying? He's an honorary member, definitely. Of course, he's part of the family. Pablo, my boy Will, JP. We say peace. Hey, as always, everybody be safe out here. Enjoy life. Enjoy these games, man. We're going to see this weekend, especially. Peace. We out.
Peace.